Hey, Gloria, thank you for your interest in a transit reading. I have your natal chart pulled up just to start with, so we could look at a couple things going on just in your blueprint to your life here, and then move on to the transits. So I just wanted to start with looking at your big three again, and just the way you interpret challenges and new experiences and how you handle things, and if there's anything that jumped out to me about any situations of um, confrontation or things that you need to do to feel grounded in that peace and who you are. When I look at yours, I see the Capricorn rising, and that's just someone who usually has a pretty logical head on their shoulders to begin with. They're known for being someone that doesn't really rush into things, kind of thinks it over a little bit before they lash out at anybody. Um, it's just real practical and things. It's not going to just make a snap decision and then have regrets, especially as a parent. It is somebody who considers the consequences of behavior. So I think that's a good starting point for you when you're handling any kind of conflict, is that you're not going to just get thrown off in and get lost in it. You're going to kind of sort through the details and see what's actually going on in the situation before just lashing out and then regretting it. What I notice is your sun is in the seventh house. And sometimes when we have planets in the seventh house, where it could be partnerships, it can also be open enemies. And that sounds a little more dramatic than it has to be. But it can just be that you tend to bring people into your life or attract people to your life who have big egos in themselves, and for some reason feel like they have some kind of authority over you. And it's something that is in the sign of Cancer. So that could be in the family, or it could be somebody that sees the way you parent, and either they're jealous of it, they're not comfortable with it. They wish that they had a close relationship with their children. Something about it makes them feel insecure. And then in return, they like to project their dominance over you and situations. It's always to their detriment when things like this happen. Your energy is to help people see in themselves where they need to change to either step up to being a better parent, or there's something about their family situation that they could do differently. So it's kind of the gift that you could bring to people that doesn't feel like a gift to you because it's kind of an energy sucker. But it is something that I notice when there's a seventh house planet and people report any kind of conflict. There's usually an answer there. So for you, you can just expect that people might see your parenting style as a threat to theirs. So are you doing something different with your child that maybe this other person wishes they could have too, and maybe it's too late, or they're just not that type of person and it's making them feel insecure? There's people project things onto other people, and I don't think that this is something that you can't handle, because the sun in Cancer, you're already comfortable with your relationship with your child. No one's going to break that. Nothing's going to really change that. What I did see about the eclipse coming up is that it's in the Libra sign, and that does affect you. You have a lot of cardinal energy. Same thing with the Aries eclipse, since you have all your angles are on a cardinal line. So that means that your Capricorn starts your first house, Libra is the 10th, Aries is fourth, Cancer is the seventh. You have a cardinal energy chart. So these eclipses do affect you. And what you might be experiencing now is that shadow period before the eclipses. And the degrees are important too, but anybody that even has those at all are going to feel it. Where your degrees for the Libra is not super close, it's still the sign of Libra on an angle. So you do have that feeling too. And I want to say the Aries eclipse is in like 19 degrees. Let me check here. Yeah, it's 19 degrees of Aries. And look where your fourth house starts is 20 degrees. So you are going to feel this solar eclipse pretty powerfully. But let's start at the Libra, since that's the ones that's coming up first. So a Libra lunar eclipse is the full moon is the lunar eclipse. And when that happens, you're being asked to release something that's not serving you anymore so that you can get closer to fulfilling what you wanted to fulfill here. And the releasing part is what we release on full moons anyway. I don't know if you practice that, but it's always like an intention of releasing, letting something go of a sign to gain something of the sign. So when it's in Libra, what can we release to help us feel inner balance and feel serenity within ourselves? How do we get that inner harmony and balance back in our lives? There's too much drama going on, then Libra sometimes will want to be over compromising and overly diplomatic to avoid confrontation. And this full moon is a chance for you to kind of let go of trying to control any situation. Sometimes Libra can play both sides of a situation to try to keep peace and save face. But what I think you would benefit at looking at is how it's at the top of your chart. So that's kind of like your public reputation, where you stand in the world, the name you've already made for yourself. It's in the sign of partnership. So you and your partner, your husband, how you guys appear as a unit to the outside world. Now, this might be getting challenged because the full moon likes to push you a little bit. And when you're asked to release something, well, what can you release to restore inner balance? Well, you can, in the 10th house, let go of any fears of what your reputation might look like, of trying to be over compromising in a way that you can maintain an image. So I think the advice here is to let that go, and you'll create more balance in your life when you're not overly concerned with what anyone else thinks of you or how anyone else views your partnership. If you and your partner feel good about each other, then lean on that and let everything else go, because Libra doesn't need an audience. Libra just wants one person that is their partner, and that's who they check and balance with. They don't need the rest of the crew to get approval from. It's tempting when your reputation is on the line or just your public image. But the lesson here is that we cannot control what anybody else says about us anyway. We cannot control what anybody else thinks about us. All we can control is ourselves, and working on your inner harmony within yourself is really therapeutic for you. And this is just 2 days away. So I think it's a good opportunity for you to think about that now, getting in touch with why you love yourself and your partner and the strengths you two have together, and what about each other makes you feel at peace, and hanging on to that with them and yourself, and then letting go of anybody else who's not part of that. And Libra is a peaceable sign, so it's not going to ask you to be really confronting with this, but just to balance it, about not being too over compromising either, finding a piece of what is in line with who you are and who your partner is, and not what other people expect you to do. So that is the Libra lunar eclipse. That's coming up, and that's going to be felt. But I think the big one for you, and what might be happening here with how you're feeling and all this stuff going on, is because you are pretty close to your fourth house line with Aries, and that's the solar eclipse. And while in your chart you don't have planets on that, it still affects you because it's the beginning of the fourth house for you. So when you're thinking of the fourth house, you think of home, your physical setting of home. It can also be who you used to be before, you were outside the home, so younger in life, how you felt about things, how you got to know yourself and who you relied on and how you developed relationships with other people, your attachments to family members and parents, and with who your family was. And then as an adult, the family that you're creating for yourself and who you keep part of that private life for you. It's a very private, personal side of your chart. So it's not about where you work or who your peers are or your acquaintances on the job. It's not about what you might want to be later in life or how you're going to make a living. It's all about your actual home and where you go to feel safe from the world. So it should be the place that you feel like you can really be yourself and the people who you call family by your side. So the solar eclipse is asking you to look at that now and to reassess what is going on there and who is being invited into that space with you. So Aries is not subtle. It's very powerful. It's the start of the zodiac because it is the big bang of energy that initiates the whole life force. So it never holds back, it never sneaks in. It's very blunt and powerful, and it's asking you to be that way too. So if you have anything that is attacking your family unit, it's asking you to be fiercely protective of it. And maybe even to consider a new course of action to achieve a goal. So all we have to do in the period when the eclipse is happening is just be still and listen to what we are guided to do. Aries wants you to trust your instincts and keep the doors open to intuition of new beginning. So I would just sit with that and think, well, what is it that I need to be taking action to do in the home? And it could be many things. It could be an actual new home, or it could be creating a new space for your own personal identity in the home. Aries is all about the self. It's not about the partnership. It's about you taking your power back. And I can see in your chart that Chiron is knocking on the door of your fourth house in the transit. So let's move it to the actual 8th here. And April 8th, you have so many things in Aries transiting your third and fourth house, but it's still technically in the third house. So on the actual day of the eclipse, you can expect that you'll feel a lot of energy on the level of just communicating with people. You might have a lot of like daily chaos feeling of just getting your daily rhythm going. There's a lot of energy challenging the third house of like short commutes and daily routines as far as like commuting to the grocery store or paying bills and talking to neighbors on a very neighborhood, small town level of just being busy. So you might feel a lot of this like energetic energy to tackle your to-do list that day. And then right after that, you're going to start feeling this whole new shift of this starting something new as relating to your home. So let's see, I want to see what day exactly that Chiron goes into the house here. Because your big shift here with this solar eclipse in the next 6 months that you feel outside of it is that your Chiron is actually entering your fourth house here, while the eclipse is touching your fourth house. You know, Chiron is going in there, and Chiron's a slow moving asteroid. It's going to be in that house now for like the next 6 years, and you're going to feel these discomfort and this theme of trying to heal an early wound in your life. And in Aries, it usually means that a time where you felt powerless. And early in life, we all feel powerless. It's our parents that make decisions for us, whether good or bad. It just is what it is. We all are powerless. But the Chiron wound in Aries is saying that where did you lose power in the home when you were younger that made you feel like what you said didn't matter or wasn't heard, or no one respected your personal identity and your space and your voice in the home. Now it's asking you to go back to that, relive that. But this time you're going to go and you're going to really stand your ground, and you're not going to take anybody else's opinion for more value than your own. It's asking you to, even though you have responsibilities, you have to make room for yourself in your own space, in your own home, and you have to do it so powerfully that no one can stand in your way. And unfortunately, that means sometimes you have battles about that. But with the battles for Aries, it's always in the Aries' favor because they're fearless about it. So it's fearlessly making a stand for yourself in your home. Does your home look like what you want it to? Are you living where you want to? Are you creating this vibe that you wanted to have because maybe when you were little you didn't? Um, is there somebody or something holding you back from making you feel like you really are standing in your own space? So that's something that's going to be a long-term theme for you, and this eclipse is just bringing it in. So you might find that you have a total change of thought and energy that just wants to stay on the private side of life now and really focus on what kind of home you want, what kind of house you want to raise your kid in, what kind of parent you want to be, how you will then set roots down for this next generation. All of that becomes so important to you now and for like the next 6 years. And you do it in this way that is full of leadership and passion. And there's not really much else that is going to take your energy away from that. And you really don't want to give anyone else the power in the home. And that's okay, because you have to heal from whatever time you didn't have a voice in your own home. This is the time where now you heal from that. And then you gift everyone with the strength and courage to let their voices be heard too. The wounded healer always then pays it forward. And so now you'll probably want to cultivate a house where everyone's voice is heard and what people think matters, and that everyone has a say, even if it leads to some kind of conflict. That's okay, because that's real, and you'd rather people be real and straight up with you than keeping feelings tucked inside and hiding it from you. You want to be the kind of parent where people can be straightforward with you, and you want a home where there are no secrets. So that's what you're trying to build here. And the solar eclipse is going to help with that. It moves things out to bring new things in, and all you have to do is be willing. So when it comes to the home, what needs to go, what needs to be different, what needs to start? It's the new moon that starts the solar eclipse. So it's always about new direction and new goals that we're trying to achieve. And Aries is the trailblazer. So it might be something that you haven't even considered before, but then this new perspective comes to you about how you want to go forward with your home life. And if there's drama situations there, that makes sense, because Aries can be drama, because the Aries is not going to be bullied by anyone, and it's not going to appreciate anybody going behind its back. the emotional manipulation and passive aggressiveness that you can see in seventh house Cancer partnerships or enemies or partnerships gone wrong can be a lot of like behind the back or manipulation and passive aggression. And Aries doesn't like that. It doesn't like that at all. I'd rather you say it to my face and let's duke it out versus finding out from someone else. So it gives you this like power to face challenges head on, blow up if you have to, and then it's squashed and it's over. And it's kind of tackling this stuff head on to where people aren't able to hide and run and say things differently, that you're going to expose people for their truth right away. Because that's what this eclipse is about too, is about you can't hide in the shadows, is going to expose yourself. And it'll do that for you. You don't have to put a lot of energy in that. The eclipse will expose people for who they are. And then you just handle it in the way that when given an opportunity to be courageous and fearless and confront someone face to face, that you take advantage of it and don't shy away and be too compromising, because Aries doesn't want that. Aries wants you to say, we're going to do this right here, right now. I don't care. I have something to say and you guys are going to hear it. But the good news is going forward, it looks like Venus is not far. So Venus is in your fourth house too. So right as this solar eclipse is taking place and you have this burst of energy and new perspective and goals and passions on how you want to be in your home, you're going to have Venus there too. It's a power of like rebuilding, because Taurus is the sign that Venus is in this transit. And that's about structure and like either physically redecorating, remodeling, getting a fresh look to your space that matches your new fresh perspective on how you want to do things inside the home. And it makes you feel really good that you're taking your power back in that regard. Even just decorating something new, getting new pillows on the couch that you picked out, your style coming through. That's the way Venus is healing the home and giving you that little push to keep going. So you're going to feel that. And that's a gift to have this by your side as you make these new courageous pathways in the home. And I would even write down like goals that you want to accomplish in the next 6 months in the home, how it looks, where you live, who's in there with you, how you're going to, parent the child, how you want to, decide who's coming over and what values are important in the home, all those types of things. That's very private between just the family members, or something that you should see what kind of ideas are new and interesting and maybe like not even super comfortable yet, and just write it down and see what happens. And then over the next 6 months, see if you get even more inspiration to make some of those things come true. Then by May, we have Venus and Jupiter in your fifth house. So that makes me wonder if part of this new change to your home in the next coming months, and part of this whole new journey for you, is about having more people in your home. Because with Jupiter in the fifth house and Venus in the fifth house of creations and what's more of an extension of yourself as a creation than your children, usually the fifth house is your children. So if you told me you were trying to conceive or were thinking about having more kids, I would say that sounds about right, because in mid-May, it is a lot of energy going on here for creating new people in the family that would match the theme to the solar eclipse for you. So that chance of, if you wanted to conceive, then in the time that Venus and Jupiter in the fifth house is a good time to try. So I would say all the way from May 15th through June 1st. No, because Jupiter is still there, so we'll keep going. So mid-May through mid-July, if you're trying to conceive, if the message of the solar eclipse for you is about new life in the home, which makes sense to me, but that's not always the case. For your story, your chart just seems like it could be something that you've thought about. And so May through July would be good times to try to conceive if that's what you feel. Doesn't have to be that. Some people that have this have like bought a new home somewhere else. They have had just like new like parenting, new rules of the home, a new like man cave has been. So in your case, since you're a woman, you would, have your own like office space, like something independent of the house. I don't know if you've ever heard of a she shed, but like that could be a thing too, where you just need your own space in the home to still be yourself. But it's like a new birth of something that wasn't there before. So that's why kids also comes into mind, but it doesn't have to be that. Even just your own space for your own expression would be good. A home gym is another example. The Aries is all about physical movement, so it could mean wanting to physically get some aggression out, and you can do that in the home, and you're getting this recharge so that when you go to face the outside world, you feel more like yourself. And there could be a physical health calling for you during these years, especially with Chiron in Aries going through your fourth house, that your physical health is really important to you so that you can be strong in your resolve to make your home life something that is healing for you. Let's continue here. There's July, Jupiter's moving into the sixth house. So there is energy if you were looking into it, spending more time outside of the home in a workspace. There's opportunity there if you need more money to, buy that new home or start that new person in the family or create the home gym. Opportunities for success at a job comes in July. And then it stays there until for a while. So it'll be um, all the way to the end of that 6 month eclipse shadow. And the physical body is also represented by the sixth house, how we take care of our vessel of life, which is our body, so that we can better serve other people, nutrition and our inner workings of our body to maintain mental health as well, a calm nervous system, a calm, healthy body. That Jupiter's in there this whole time of this Aries solar eclipse season makes me think too, how has your physical health been? Are you taking time to work on yourself? Are you letting the stress of family drama stress you out physically? Because there's that balance, the balance of the lunar eclipse in Libra is also about releasing things to maintain balance in yourself. And then the Aries goes into Chiron in your fourth house. And it makes me think that you need to be physically strong to endure things. And then Jupiter in the sixth house here is like a recurring theme of, are you taking care of your physical body? Are you releasing all the stress that you're enduring? Are you equally matching that release? And if not, you're getting the boost from Aries to amp up your physical energy reserve so that maybe you can get started on a better health regimen for yourself. because the sixth house is also about, routines. So Jupiter's expanding your day here so you can fit in something else into your routines. And it could be something to relieve mental stress because it's in Gemini. And a good way to relieve mental stress is through physical exercise. I think that matches the theme here for the Aries solar eclipse for you. And I would recommend you trying something like with a meditative edge to it, like yoga or Tai Chi, something that you can physically work your body, but you're also getting that mental stress release. Because with Jupiter in Gemini, you'll have a lot of mental activity. And if you're still facing any kind of stress, because life is stressful, I think it's asking you to incorporate a real practice into your routine that's going to take care of your physical self. But let's backtrack because I want to see where Venus was going to after the eclipse. Because once it leaves your fifth house in July, and it goes to the sixth house, I want to see when it goes to the seventh house, because that again is where the conflicts and partnerships can be seen. And it's important that we see when is the best time to find conflict resolution for you with any family or any kind of issues. So it looks like Venus is going to make its way into your seventh house in June, but not too long after this eclipse happens. You are going to have the opportunity to find peace with whatever conflicts going on in partnerships. So it is in the sign of Cancer, so it makes me think it's that family situation is going to find peace, a common ground, resolve. People are going to realize you have this Aries energy, and when it comes to your home and who you love there, you're not taking any crap, and they can feel that in you. So they've decided to back down. So by then in June, you get that, okay, I can relax now. I've made my stand. People know I'm not playing anymore. They know that I'm fiercely protective of my home, and I'm willing to do what it takes to maintain my home life the way I want it. So they back down. And that happens in June. And anytime between mid-June to mid-July, you can feel this energy of, okay, we've made peace. We can move on. We're going to do different things now. That part's over. And then this way you can get focused on the other things that you need to achieve besides just the drama of other people. Because I feel like there's this new energy going into your home, and it's not really involving these other people. It's involving you taking your power back in the home, either because you didn't have it in childhood or somebody's been messing with it now, and you're ready to do things the way you want them done, and you're ready to have your own space, and you're ready for new things in the home that you're really passionate about. Whatever those things are, that's what you're working towards, and that's what this eclipse is doing for you. And starting with the full moon, letting things go that are stressing you out too much, that are causing you any kind of lack of peace publicly. That's the start of it, but it's really deeper, and it's really more just about you standing up for what you want. And that's going to take a little longer. That's why you have that 6-month period to really get it moving. Let's see. Yeah, and then Chiron's fully in the fourth house then. So that's that long theme. So over this next, 6 years or so, you'll be feeling that healing finally happening of past wounds from childhood or early home life as you make your way into this new home that you've created, intentionally forming it how you would like it to be. So it's a long journey. You don't feel those kind of transits super fast like you're going to feel the slow moving planets. Why you don't more of like a theme to the next few years versus just like a month of energy. I want to say those are the main points that I wanted to touch base on here for you. Towards the end, it'll be October. I know we briefly were there to look at Jupiter. Let's see where Venus is at that point too. Venus is in the 11th house, so all the way to the 6 month ending of this Aries eclipse. The 11th house would be like our future dreams and like after we've worked hard, like our rewards for that, or people and things and group ideas that we feel connected to. And it's when it's Venus is there, it's just the sense that you're in the right direction, that you're going in the right direction for your future and long-term goals of being a success. That one day you will be able to reap the rewards of all the hard work that you're doing now. So it's kind of a beautiful closure to the 6 month period for you. Like at the end of that, you can say, okay, I did the work and I'm starting to see what the point was of things. And then your moon, with the moon coming back around in Aries at that point, almost to where you started. So you should have this emotional sense of security and a realignment with that same initial Aries eclipse energy from the 6 month before. So that's really a beautiful note. And also just that the North Node in Aries is coming around the same degree, then it's still early off, but it's just those destiny marks that things are going the way that you're supposed to be doing. So all you have to do is be willing and receptive to it and embrace that powerful Aries energy. That's why the Aries eclipse is so powerful, because it's hard to not feel that energy of feeling like you're lit from within, that you're just ready on a mission to start something without anybody else's approval. And that's what's so nice about this energy. It's just very accessible, especially with you with your points on cardinal angles here. I think you're going to be really recharged and feel really confident in your decision making and have a lot of resolve and fearlessness and taking action to make the home life what you really want it to be. And then people will appreciate that you weren't too compromising, and now like it is better off because they're doing it your way. I hope that is a good feeling for you. I hope it resonated. I hope that you're kind of already getting that pre-shadow idea of what needs to be released for the full moon to help restore your peace and get you started to be open and receptive to what this Aries energy is going to be for your home life. If anything's unclear, I know there's a lot of things there. Just let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions or go over something, or if something comes up that would make more sense if you explain something further, then I'm happy to do that too. So just let me know. I'll stop it here for now. And then I will send you this and you can just let me know through Messenger if anything else is on your mind. Okay, thanks so much.